Hello guys, this is Sharvesh and I'm here to present my software testing review too. So let's take a look. The testing tool that I'm going to use is Apache's JMeter. So what's JMeter? So JMeter is an open source software application which is 100% purely developed on Java. It's designed to load test functional behavior and measure performance. It was originally designed to perform tests on web applications, but now it has a huge variety of applications. So features of JMeter. Apache's JMeter is used to test performance on both static and dynamic resources and also on web dynamic applications. It can be used to simulate a heavy load on a server or group of servers or network or object to test its strength and to analyze the overall performance under different load types. It is completely portable. Since it's developed on Java, you can use it on multiple platforms that have JVM in it. So caching and offline analysis or replaying of test results is possible using JMeter. It has easy correlation through the ability to extract data from most popular response formats, which include HTML, JSON, XML, or any textual format. So you can generate the test results in any of these formats. So now let's talk about the elements of JMeter. So these include thread groups, samplers, listeners, and configuration. Generally, it's quite difficult for humans to execute performance testing manually. So JMeter is one of the best platforms to do performance testing. So now let's take a look about thread groups. Thread groups are basically collection of threads. Each thread group represents a single user performing test under the application. Basically, each thread simulates one user request to the server. Control for these thread groups allows us to choose the number of threads for each group. For example, if we set the number of threads to be 100, JMeter will create and simulate 100 user requests to the server that is under test. So now let's take a look about samplers. The request that a user can provide can be an FTP request, HTTP request, JDBC request, etc. For example, if you want to test an FTP server, basically a website that supports upload and download, you can just use this FTP request so the JMeter will send an upload or download file request to the server. And HTTP request lets you to send an HTTP or HTTPS request to the web server. On sending these requests, JMeter will retrieve HTML files from the website. The JDBC request helps you to execute database performance testing. Basically, it sends a JDBC request to the database and check the database performance. Next comes the BSF sampler. It allows you to write a sampler using BSF scripting language. Next comes access log sampler. It allows us to read access logs and generate HTTP requests. Logs could be any of these formats like HTML, CSS, etc. So the last one is SMTP sampler. This sampler is used to send mail messages using the SMTP protocol. So now let's talk about listeners. Listeners show the result of the test execution. They can show results in different formats such as trees, table graph, or log file. So basically, you can view the test results using any of these formats. So next comes configuration. Configuration basically sets up defaults and variables for the data used by the sampler. These include CSV dataset config, HTTP cookie manager, login config element, HTTP request defaults, FTP request defaults. What these all basically does is it provides a format for any kind of test that you're going to perform. So now let's talk about the advantages of JMeter. First, JMeter developed on Java, it's open source. Second, it is user friendly. Next comes support. JMeter supports scripting, which means you can run a complete load test without the knowledge of coding. JMeter has its own robust documentation. Using this, one can master JMeter from scratch. Next comes recording. Basically, you can create a particular format for testing and use it for testing a variety of applications. Next, reporting. If you have any crash or anything, you can easily report it to Apache. Thank you. Now let me show you how to download and install JMeter. On Google, search for JMeter. So the first link from Apache's official website is here. I would recommend you to go around this website. I would require a zip file, so on clicking this, the download will start. Now basically, what you want to do is just extract this to a specific location, hence you will get installed. So now let's start JMeter. So this is how the window looks. So on the next final review, I'll be implementing testing methodologies and will test my website using JMeter. Thank you.